All right. So we don't really have a tradable fundamental event today. The course of the night, 3 a.m. precisely, official cash rate rather, that's the interest rate from New Zealand was released. The actual came out equal to the forecast. And the RBNZ rate statement, that's the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, also issued a statement. But that was in the night. So here in Nigeria, people of us were sleeping, including myself. So today, 7:15 a.m., there's a fundamental event, but I will advise not to really bother about it. That's the Bank of Japan Governor Hilda is giving a speech. Though it means we need to be careful with the JPY peers. They might react to this news. But because it's a speech, there's no forecast or any actual as expected. That's why I said you should not really bother so much about it. But if you have a running trade for the Japanese yen, either a US JPY, Euro JPY, GBP JPY, I will advise you take a lot of caution around that instrument. Possibly make sure you have your stop loss in place. And later tonight by 7 p.m., FOMC minutes will be released. It's not the main FOMC, but then it can still do some volatility. Again, it's a minute like a speech. So no forecast or actual expected also. So technically, it's like we really don't have a trading fundamental event for today. So, but at that, even at that, I will advise you trade cautiously, especially around the Japanese yen. And maybe later in the afternoon, you'll also need to be cautious with the dollar-based pairs. All right, that means so that I said I'll flip over now to the charts for us to look at the technicals. Now, the market has been unsettled for quite some time, so sometime last week. Even though it's unsettled, extreme volatility has been experienced on some instruments, and we just had to wait carefully and see markets get to a logical conclusion before we can, know the next move of some of these pairs. And so majority of them are still not too settled, but then I can see some setup on a few, which I want us to pay some attention to this morning. And it's just the AUD pairs that seems to have some measure of stability that will result into a trade. And this morning I'm looking at the GBP AUD. All right, so this is GBP AUD. You can see it's been trending up. It's gone into the highest point ever. Okay, in a long while, not really ever. The highest point in a very long while, and currently trading around a resistance level on the monthly time frame. And if we switch over to the weekly, we discover that price actually touched that, that resistance. There was a slight touch. So that tells you that, well, possibly that resistance level will hold. And we'll flip down to the daily time frame. Price has been ranging around that same resistance level in the last couple of days. That means some reversal might be imminent on this instrument. This is the 4-hour. On the 4-hour, we have a setup that looks like a double top forming, which may lead to a bearish breakout. But then my focus is the 1-hour time frame. Now, on the 1-hour, you can see the last 3 candles were okay. Before I draw the resistance, this last 2 set of candles before the current one is actually a tweezer top candlestick pattern. And when you find it, definitely it's found in an uptrend. It signifies the possibility of a reversal. And the confirmation is that it also happened around a resistance level. If you've attended my classes, I've explained this several times. When you have candlestick patterns and happen around resistance levels, it gives a very further confirmation that price will go in the expected direction. Now, this is already moving, but what I would advise you to do here is this. You can see even on 15 minutes, it's still having a bearish outlook. We want to wait for price to break out because on the 15 minutes now, it's giving us a clearer outlook of a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder. So if a new candle opens below this trend line, which is the neckline. That will be our confirmation to trigger a sell on the GBP AUD. On the 15 minutes time frame, RSI is already below 50. So that means it's really getting set for a bearish breakout. So we just wait for a new candle to open below this lower trend line. From there, we can take a sell on the GBP AUD. So I'm bearish on the GBP AUD for today. And I think that's basically what I have for us this morning. Okay, GBP New Zealand too, but then AUD New Zealand, they always, I mean, AUD pairs and New Zealand pairs, they always behave the same way. So I wouldn't want to take a repetitive kind of trend set, or one is just good, one and you can see it's already trying to move as expected. So that's going to be all from my end this morning. GBP JPY. Okay, so let me check what Maureen is asking on GBP JPY. I would have preferred if GBJPY is able to hit a support level, especially at least on the minimum of the daily time frame, but that is not what is happening at the moment. It's not showing around any support level either on the weekly or the daily time frame. So I will advise to take some caution. Yeah, it seems to have some support on the 1 hour, but sometimes 1 hour support or resistance may not be strong enough, to give a sustained reversal. So I don't want to give any view on this instrument for now. GBPCHF, that's Solomon. So I won't give anything on GBP JPY yet. It's not meeting my criteria. GBP CHF. All right, GBP CHF just has hit support level on the daily. And, it's trying to form a doji for our 1 hour. Now, GBP CHF might have a better chance to reverse compared to the GBP JPY. That doesn't mean we may not see some kind of reversal on GBP JPY, but it's not meeting the criteria that I normally look out for. But GBCHF seems to have that price already hit a support level on the daily, and on the 1 hour, it's trying to give some reversal outlook. So I can draw a trend line there and a second one to give me a falling wedge. So that means I've been waiting for price to break out above this to look at an opportunity to buy the GBP CHF. And the confirmation would be that RSI also is above 50 at the point you want to trigger the entry. So we're bullish on the GBP CHF. And Elsmart is asking me to check gold. Yeah, I gave this outlook yesterday on gold. I said gold is going to do some buying before we see a sell. So it's buying at the moment, but a reversal is actually anticipated. So I will advise to be very cautious with gold at this point. But this is equally giving us an inverse head and shoulder outlook. Just a second, let me confirm something. There was a speech by Donald Trump last night, so that might really unsettle the market this morning. Okay, so this is a resistance turn support zone from where a reversal symbol taking place on gold. Let me confirm with the dollar index. Have a better view. Okay, I think the dollar index is trying to drop to hit this support. As in the trend line, the lower trend line there, that might give gold some breathing space to actually go up. All right, so that's what is responsible. The reason is because gold is always going opposite the dollar. So we may have some bullish breakouts, on gold. That's what might be happening now. But I would advise to trade with a lot of caution. There's a lot of instability in the market these days. So if you want to trade this, take it with a very small lot size. Gold might go higher. It may go higher. Yeah, it's bullish. All right. I think if that's the last question, then we might be rounding up with the analysis session. There's nothing much in the market today. No serious fundamentals, even technicals. The market is just trying to readjust itself after the series of movement that's been happening since last week. So, but then the setup I gave us is GBP AUD, on which I said I'm bearish, and we're only waiting for price to break out below the lower trend line here to see a bigger bearish move on the GBP AUD. And for the other analysis, yes, I said I'm bullish on the GBP CHF. For gold, it's looking bullish. I'm not giving 100% of it. You must trade it, can you trade it with proper caution? Don't take unnecessary risk. All right, so that's going to be all for my analysis this morning. Don't forget, I'll be CPI tomorrow. We'll be trading live. Join us with a funded account. And there'll be physical training also tomorrow at the Abuja office and Lagos office. Abuja is 10:30 a.m. in the morning, and Lagos is 11 a.m. And Abuja office address is number 50, a B2 Okiwe Street, Jabi, Abuja. And the address of Lagos is 54B Adeni Jones Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos. Okay, Adekoye Shegun is asking, can GBP CHF buy and GBP AUD sell? Well, that's a good question, and that's why I said trade with caution. If you are selling GBP AUD, don't bother about GBP CHF. Don't bother about you can't be buying and selling both because the pound is the base for both of them. So the person that is now, when I do analysis, please take note of the format. The analysis I do personally by myself, I call them grade A analysis. And I do encourage our clients to stick more with those ones. Now, the other ones that people ask, sometimes they are personal setup that they are checking, or maybe they have a running trade on. So I classify them as a grade B. Many times it's personal to those individuals. So if I give you an analysis of GBP AUD, that's my own personal outlook, which I've checked with my experience, to go in the direction I've said it to go. The others are grade B. So if you are trading the one I've given you, which I encourage you to, then I would say stick more with the GBP AUD. So when it breaks out into a sell, that's, yeah, I'm more certain of that one. That doesn't mean GBP CHF may not buy, but you cannot be buying GBP CHF and be selling it. So that can lead to some issues. Just stick with one of them, preferably the GBP AUD. All right, I hope I answered the question. Adequate schedule. All right, so that'll be the end of the analysis. Later today by 12:30 p.m., that'll be the afternoon analysis session. So possibly by then, maybe there'll be more set up in the market for us to look at. Just take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.